You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I would not be here today had I not had those different directives.
Yeah.
I'd still be sitting in silence.
Right.
I want to learn from you. I have 3 powerful, independent, brilliant women, and I want to know, what is the purpose and place of a father in this society? Because a father like myself who wants to be as involved and as attentive as possible, we could draw the conclusion of we just donate sperm and come pay for things, and we don't really have no say-so in how things are handled.
No, that's not.
Hello everyone, I'm here to answer the second part of the questions. This section is Lana's questions I'll be answering, which I already did, but I'm redoing it. So here goes. First question: how important is a father or male role model in a home, and why? Well, I think the family structure was based off of a mom and dad, right? So I think that is it basically is a divine organization. So I think the role of a father is very important, because a father is supposed to play traditionally as a role of provider and protector. However, in the society today, I think as a lot of things have happened that has kind of deteriorated the role of a father. And sometimes some men, I think, they believe their role is not important, or their role is being scrutinized, or it is being, in a sense, tampered with. So they can't afford to be the man that they want to be. But at the end of the day, the role of the father is very important, and because a father basically he is supposed to provide, besides the traditional as we know, providing and protecting, he's supposed to provide some kind of vision in the home, some kind of vision and direction where the family needs to go. Question number 2: do you think there is any correlation between crime and our young men and women and absent fathers or fatherless homes? That's a tricky question. I think there is a correlation, but I think the correlation also could happen if father is in the home. But yes, there's a correlation. All studies have shown that a very large percentage of the men in prison come from fatherless homes. And I think that basically happens because in Trinidad and Tobago and a lot of the Western Hemisphere basically came from a slave tradition. Basically meaning, in the sense of, it was only transformed into a wage economy. In the sense of, it was always that 2 parents was working in the home to build the economy of others. So I think in that forum, the children a lot of time remain unsupervised, and boys in particular, they have a tendency to be more to be more adventurous, to be more, because of the hunting skills, right? They need to be exploring. Girls on the other hand may, although not at all times, and these days it's changing, but traditionally and most of the time, girls are the ones who will more stay home, learn to cook. As someone put it at time, a girl might bring home a baby if she is what's the word I'm looking for? If she's kind of dysfunctional. But a guy on the other hand, might bring home a gun, he might bring the police. So I think that is the difference. But basically, yes, the father, absent fathers do present a problem to the community, and it puts a strain on the woman, the mother. Because a lot of time the mother, as we saw in the Malcolm X clip, the mother is not able to have the strength to basically run down a boy. Or sometimes I know, like, I grew up with a father, and when your mother say, you just wait until daddy come home, a lot of times you know something is serious, so you check yourself. So I think, yes, that discipline, although at the same time, a lot of homes have fathers, and the fathers are not really there, because there are other little things that has happened in this society, in the sense of drugs. Sometimes a father might be a drug addict, so he is there, but he's not really there. Sometimes he might be an abuser. So basically, the respect the child has from is also lost. So those are just 2 examples. So there's a lot of other things besides that they have done fatherless homes was one of the initial things that have happened to the society, but later on other things have happened. And I'll give two instances: drugs and abusive fathers, which gives the child, and if it's the boy, a lot of he has less respect, and sometimes he even disrespects his father. So yes, I wanted to say it one more time. Yes, fatherless homes is a major contribution to crime, because most studies have shows it, and a lot of the communities we see it prevalent, but it is not the only and by all and end all factor. How did the Malcolm X video impact you, and do you think there is any relevance or similarity to homes today? Yes, I think the Malcolm X video had an impact on me, because you saw a lot of similarities between the past, which would have been slavery, and also you saw a lot of similarities to even today. But when I put all together, it is like a timeline where you're seeing basically the same thing. From the slavery point of view, when you watch movies like Kunta Kinte, 12 Years a Slave, and from history, you will know one of the first things the slave master would have done is he would have stripped the name from the slave and give him a slave master name, give him the name of the slave master. In the movie, what we saw was the news reporter grilling Malcolm X to give his slave name, which Malcolm X did not want to do. And today, we have that name and nobody really challenges it. And I see with contemporary society, I see basically the same thing. In the past, we knew that there was a problem. We knew there was somebody that we need to be defiant against. We knew that there was somebody who was challenging our freedom. In Malcolm X time, I would think that Malcolm X and men like Marcus Garvey, Martin Luther King, they actually stood up, they were fighting, they had something they were fighting for. And in today's society, it is like, there's nothing that the power, that the powers that be, the people who will call you oppressor, is basically an invisible person. We don't have a name for the person no more. So basically, that is what I see when I saw the movie, is that the three stages. During slavery, it was obvious. During Malcolm X time, it was a little tweaked, but he still knew who was challenging him. It had a face today. Nobody don't really bother us. And I think when I watch the clip, that is how the society is. Racism today has gone institutionalized. A lot of the components and the linchpins that had slavery and segregation working properly, it has now become ingrained into the fabric of the society, where we basically do not know that we are victims. Right, I've got to stop before because of that. Number 4. What do you think can be done generally to reduce crime within the country? Now that is a very trickish question, because everybody think that they do have the answer to that question. Everybody think that they have the perfect answer to solve crime. And I would say crime basically starts with ourselves. We need to be able to check ourselves and stop. One of the things is pointing the finger. I mean, we could say, broken homes, we could say the drug trade, we could say a lot of things, but I would like to watch it from a different perspective. Because it's easy to point the finger and say the government is doing this, or we poor, because people will use excuses and to justify whatever they desire to do. A man who's going to... So, sorry for the little interruption. The man who decides he want to commit adultery, he will justify his action. He might even go as far as saying the woman husband is not treating him correct. The guy who father wasn't in the home, he might be stealing. I might be 35 years old, 25, and he's still talking about his father, whereas he has a chance, because he know a lot of us, right and wrong is ingrained in us. So I think we need to take personal stances, do an inventory, a stock of ourselves, and see where we are actually going, where we are contributing to the problem. It might be we like to gossip, because it's basic things, basic civil and moral etiquette that a lot of us lack, that is causing a lot of these problems. Because sometimes even people in criminal activities, They are in criminal activities and they are trying to outsmart another criminal. So basically, is there's no honor. I mean, there's no honor among thieves, but at least you're already doing something wrong. Try and have a little something in you, because I know a lot of us, we know right and wrong. So basically, I think the problem basically is a human problem, where everyone is trying to get one up on someone. Sometimes some people might be already rich, they might already be having enough, and they still think that they need to outsmart each other. And sometimes it's just pure. Some people, I believe personally, that some people are born without an arm and some people are born without a hand. Some might be born without a foot, some might be born dumb, blind and deaf. I also believe that some people are born without a conscience, some people are born without empathy, and some people are born without, certain spiritual values that we take for granted. In the same way that some people are born dumb, deaf, blind. Right? So, I mean, I hope that I have a lot we could say, but we have already gone through all the elements where everyone would write about it, they sing songs about what is needed. One of the other things I would want to mention is that a lot of people, because I did a post called post-traumatic slave syndrome, and I think a lot of people going through the generational curses where they are just following in the footsteps of what happened in the past, in the sense of certain mental disruptions that happened through slavery was passed down, and because we have not done an inventory, a stock, to see where we just repeating the mistakes of the past, that we have not we are not able to take and purge ourselves of some of those things that we just willy-nilly took it from our grandparents. One of those might be belittling your children. Like a new phenomenon we see in these days is people beating children and putting it on social media. Now, in my time, didn't have social media, but it's something that have today. I mean, some people might say, okay, that is, you're trying to put that fear in the child, but basically what you are doing is taking away shame from that child also. And everyone needs a certain dose of healthy shame. When you're beating a child records, then they could say, well, okay, I can just do anything because you already took away that shame from them. So these are things we need to take stock of, little things we do with our children, in the sense of belittling them, talking down on them, and these kind of things, trying to uplift, because we have a lot of negativity already in the communities. So that is how I will answer that question. Number 5, do you think it is possible for a woman to teach a son to be a man? Justify, or must there be a man involved? Now, I believe yes, a woman can teach a son to be a man, because I believe there are two elements of teaching by example. One, you can teach someone with words, and two, you can teach someone with actions. And basically, you can tell someone, what is required. You can give them a manual. That is how some people work. In a theoretical sense, yes, she can do it, but in a practical sense, it is basically very difficult. And to say that if there needs to be a man involved, I would say no, because the word must is a very serious word, and as we already went through, some men are dysfunctional themselves. They might be drug dealers, abusers, substance abusers, and all the other frailties. Some men might be easily dominated, and it might still be that the woman is dominated in the household. So to say a man is really supposed to be is pushing it a little too far, I will say, because in every situation, you need to take every situation as like every snowflake, but every snowflake is different from the other snowflake. So we can't really group all of them together and say, especially when we use the word must, because there's a lot of dynamics that we need to examine before we even say those. So the 6th and final question: why is our crime rate at an all-time high? Now that's a very technical and ticklish question, because of the mere fact that Trinidad and Tobago was built on crime, and as much of the Western Hemisphere was built on crime. I think Trinidad and Tobago and the wider Caribbean was built on a crime model. In the sense of when Christopher Columbus came here, he started off murder. Slavery was one of the biggest crimes, and no one has ever been held accountable for that. No one has ever really expressed regret in the way that regret is supposed to be to be shown in the proper sense, which is to give. Because if you take something from me and you say you are sorry, but you don't give me back what you took from me, then you are not really sorry, right? So I will say that, putting that aside, the crime rate basically stems from that nothing has ever been done for a certain segment of the population that was basically traumatized. Let's put it like that, for a very long time, and they passed on the trauma through generations. And then couple that with the socio-economics of the country at various junctions in society, that aggression follows frustration like night follows day. And I think, and a lot of people, they, for their own reasons, might be religious, might be financial, economic, they have the ability to use these people who have been subjected to a lot, and who are basically trying to get their head above water. And they basically have the ability to use these people and make them look like basically they are the crux of the problem. But basically, and but the people with the mind and the finances to really stop it, the person with the finances, and the person with the people who is the backbone of the situation, not really being affected. Coupled with that, I will say the judiciary plays a very important role, and a big in the sense of the judiciary. Basically, I think I talked about it a little bit in my last video with Carrie's video, but the judiciary basically needs to be checked because of the lengthiness of the cases, because of witnesses. We need to be able to understand that we need to move away from our over reliance on witness testimony and try to get in the realm of science, right? Because I think, and especially if you have one witness for something, or it is kind of sketchy, we need to really boost up on our intelligence, because basically people believe they can do crime and get away with it, right? That is what basically is happening in the country. Because one of the things that I believe could stop a man from doing a crime is if he knows for a fact he will be detected. Quick detection and swift justice. That is what I think will really stop people from committing crime. Early detection and swift justice. And secondly, because sometimes somebody did a crime in 2009 and you hear them now getting sentenced in 2020. You are like that. Nobody knows that person. But if you know at the very time they did it, they get caught and they get sentenced immediately, I think that will put a stop to the system. And one of the other things I already mentioned again, that I think is the crux of the crime problem, is people have moved away from the laws of God, and they are basically thinking that, if you do a crime, if man don't catch you, then you are not really a criminal, that you are free. But in the past, or in the psyche, if a man fears God, he will know that, okay, even if he gets away with this crime, he is still, the Almighty also sees him. So he will be think twice, because he knows that he believes that there's a higher power. But because people believe that there's no higher power, I think a lot of people believe they can take the chance and do whatever they feels like. Thank you very much.